What's up YouTube, this is Sean and I thought I'd show you this little CNC laser engraver that I modified just so I can engrave or mark my EVA foam, but that's a topic for another video. In this video, we are going to be working on Patman's foam armor for cosplay. I told you guys I was gonna start doing some EVA foam stuff again. Notice that laser engraver made things a whole lot easier transferring those patterns over. Alright, so I got all my patterns cut out, all my inner patterns drawn on or laser cut on. Everything is cut to the proper angle, and now it's time to do some V undergroove cuts, but instead of using a razor blade, I'm going to use this wood burner. It's got a V-tip on there, and what it's actually doing is heating up that foam. It's actually melting it a little bit, and before it dries or cool down, I hold it together until it cools down, and it kind of fuses itself together. So yeah, it makes things a little bit easier. And now it's time to attach all the chest pieces together. It's gonna look something like this. And when I get the other side put together, I'm going to go ahead and attach these pieces right here. Now as for the chest piece, I did cut the center line and a outward angle cut, and it's going to make things bevel inward. But for this lower piece right here, it's actually going to be a straight cut, so when you join them together, the chest piece will actually bevel inward, and the lower piece is actually going to be straight, and it's going to give you this this chest looking piece, just like that. Alright, now it's time to attach the abdominal piece, which is fairly easy. I don't really have to explain much here. Just glue all those pieces together. Now, if I could go back and do this again, which I could, which I probably will, but I would actually use different size thickness of foam, or maybe even stagger the foams. That way it gives it a better effect. But yeah, after putting it all together, I'm like, man, this looks kind of plain. So I may just go back and stagger the foam a little bit. But for the sake of the video, let's just carry on. Now I'm attaching the emblem, which I also laser cut, and well, I didn't laser cut it, I laser etched it, and then I went back and cut the outer parameter. Now this is the back piece. I did go back and modify it, but I decided to keep this footage anyways. This original method didn't really work out for me, because it was designed for skinnier people, and I'm not that skinny. So I went ahead and made some modification, but I wanted to go ahead and keep the footage because there are some crucial steps here that I can't really edit out. So I got the traps area put together, just like that, and then I'm gonna put the neck guard on here. Now I know in the reference pictures it looked like the neck guard was part of the cape, but I decided to make it part of the armor. And I will figure out a way to put the cape on the trap side. So yeah, it kind of goes on just like this. There are some angle cuts there to make things look cool. Now keep in mind that when you join two outward angle cuts, then you're going to get an inward bevel, and if you join two inward angle cuts, then you're going to get an outward bevel. So yeah, just kind of remember that whenever you're trying to get the right angle bevel. Now I'm applying some heat to seal the foam. This is kind of like the first stage of sealing the foam. I usually hit it with the heat gun, and you notice it gets a little shiny when you hit it with the heat gun, and that's kind of just closing the pores of the EVA foam. And then I hit it with the sealer before I paint it. So yeah. Alright, so here is where I'm going to make some modification. I wanted to add a little bit of detail to the back, but I needed to get rid of the rib area and replace that part with some fabric. And yeah, so I pretty much cut out that piece, and it kind of looked cool if I was able to like maybe fasten it down to an undergarment, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna use this fabric. It's kind of heavy. It's like an outdoor fabric. and I use it quite often on cosplay. But this material would probably work best. It was stretchy, maybe some stretchy denim or I don't know, spandex. But yeah, I hemmed the upper and bottom, and then I sewed on the velcro with the loop side facing out. And now I'm gonna go and put down some contact cement right here on the inside part of the abdominal, which I'm going to stick the hook velcro onto this. So yeah, now it doesn't really matter if you use the hook or loop on the undergarment. I prefer to have the loop on the undergarment and the hook on the foam armor, because the loop is, you know, a little more flexible and it's a little bit comfortable, you know, not so prickly if you were to have that actually on your clothes. So yeah, that's kind of why I do it like that. So I got the self-adhered velcro. I'm sticking it on the contact cement. Now you want to make sure your contact cement is dry to attack before you stick it down, because it's not going to work if it's still wet. You know, if you leave it for like an hour and then come back and stick it on, it's like it'll still work. So yeah, now I'm test fitting the velcro on there and it's looking pretty good. So yeah, like I was saying earlier, you know, if you had access to some stretchy fabric, like maybe some black stretchy denim or something, maybe even an old sweater, you can cut that up and put it on there. Sweater has a little bit of flexibility on there. So I got the back piece glued back together, and I'm going to glue the rib fabric to the back just like that. And you kind of get the picture here, right? It's gonna wrap around your body. I do most of my cosplays like this. So here are the shoulder pads, pauldrons. Now this is actually a two-part shoulder pauldron, and this is the inner piece. And I'm just gonna glue the outer pieces to the middle. Notice that both of the edges that I'm joining together have inward angle cuts. So when I join them together, I'm gonna have an outward bevel, just like that. Now it's time to do the I guess the second part of the shoulder pauldron, and this is kind of like an accent to it. It's like it's got a shield on top of it. And same thing with this one. I'm joining the outer pieces to the center, and both edges will have inward angle cuts. And then I went and cut these little strips right here out of I think those 6mm EVA foam, and just gonna stick it on there just like that. Gives it kind of a cool effect. And once you get it all together, it should look something like this. And then here is like the third part. So I said 2 pieces, right? I meant to say 3-piece shoulder pauldron. Now I'm going to take that second piece, and I'm going to glue it on top of the first piece, just like that. So it kind of sits on there loosely, but I glue the corners together, and then I'm going to stick this bottom piece on there, just like that. And there you have it, the Patman shoulder pauldron. And I'm going to use this this bicep guard. I've used this before. Figured, you know what, it's nothing really fancy, so why not just use this again. I had some slots cut out, and I stuck some 1-inch elastic on there, and I'm going to hold it down with some hot glue. And while it's still hot, I'm using these specially made clamps to hold it together. Now it's time to join the bicep guard to the shoulder, and it should look something like that. Pretty cool, huh? And I went back and put some velcro on the inside of the shoulder pauldron, which is going to attach to velcro, which is going to be sewn onto the undergarment. Now here is the forearm bracers, I guess, gauntlets, bracers, and fairly easy. Just stick these 2 outer wings on there, and should have something that looks like this. And then I'm gonna heat it with the heat gun, because I'm gonna roll it. And you know, foam rolls easier when it's hot, and it tends to hold its shape. But I'm not telling you something you don't already know. So yeah, it should look something like that. And then I'm going to hold it down with some elastic, just like that. Or, you know, I'm probably going to end up integrating the gloves that I made in the previous video for this part, but just, you know, showing you guys another way of doing it. And this is pretty easy. Now he's got these dart looking things on his bracers, so I'm going to try to make that out of some paper, and I got some aluminum tape, which I'm going to use about that much of it, which is actually 7 inches. And then I'm going to roll it around this pen right here. But before I do that, I'm going to take the back peel part of the tape off, and I'm going to put it on the bottom edge of that paper. Look just like that. And then I'm going to roll the paper on top of the pen loosely though, because I'm going to want to take that pen out whenever, you know, I get everything stuck together. So I'm going to use another pen and just push it out just like that. And you'll need about 5 of these, and I made 5 of them. Then I'm just going to hold it on there with some hot glue. 3 dabs of hot glue per darts will work. Just like that. Now I could probably dirty this up a little bit because it's a little too shiny and it needs to be weathered down, so I'll probably do that in the next video. But yeah, so far it's looking like this. Pretty groovy, huh? And don't forget the fins. I just stuck these on there. They're just like 1 inch piece of foam with an angle cut on it. So yeah, so far it's looking like this. Here's a back shot of the armor so far, and here is the front part of the armor. So yeah, now I haven't made a cape video in a while, so be on the lookout for one of those really soon. So yeah, that's just about it for this video. Leave a comment and hit that like button if you got something out of this video, and make sure you subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.